HempUSA.org has moved and expanded its operations for faster worldwide shipping. Our product line has grown from 5 to nearly 100 items in less than 5 years. Our food is grown naturally, always chemical-free, not found in stores. Great for daily intake and perfect for your emergency storage shelter. Call 908-691-2608 or visit HempUSA.org and see what our powders, seeds, and oil can do for you. HempUSA.org has a revolutionary wonder food for detoxing the body and rebuilding the immune system.
And welcome to the Jim Freeland Show. That caught me off guard, caught me by surprise. This is the Jim Freeland Show, broadcasting live from the Against the Wall Man Cave Studios. I'd like to thank everybody for joining me. This is the Oracle Broadcast Network, oraclebroadcast.com, oraclebroadcasting.com. Calling number today, 866-841-1065. Today, I kind of want to talk about, well, I'll just mention a few things anyways. And if you want to call me about, and maybe mention the fact that Rachel Corrie was murdered a few years ago and nobody will be held accountable. I mean, people think that this is unique to just Israel and Palestine, but it's not. I mean, thousands of people are killed by the police here in the United States, and no one's ever held accountable. It seems like almost every single day I find an article about the police gunning somebody down, shooting somebody in their living room or in their doorway or in their kitchen, or shooting their dogs out in their yard. No one's ever held accountable. And I'm live. I am live. You can email me at truthrising@gmail.com. The chat room is at againstthewall.info. People who have listened to my show before know that at Against the Wall, I post a lot of news. Anything that you hear me talk about is generally going to be posted at Against the Wall. Iran, the claim right now, there's a claim that Iran has doubled their uranium enrichment. There's also the claim that that they're developing a bomb or a delivery system. These are unsubstantiated, obviously. You can't prove. No one's been able to prove yet. Here's something that you probably didn't know is, and this is going to have dire consequences for Syria. And I'm not positive, but I have seen from a couple of sources, a couple of different places, that the Russians are going to pull out, that they're about to close or abandon their Navy base in Syria. Now, let me just tell you, if this is true, Assad is as good as dead. He's as good as done for. And after Syria is Iran, period. I mean, do I see a global conflict this year or anything like that? No. We don't need that anymore. The way things are done now is not a global conflict. It's little regional conflicts. And when you look at the fact that there's 100, count them up, at least 160 military bases, well, 160 countries with a U.S. military, there's like 850 military bases, U.S. military bases, and more than 160 countries. And when you look at the fact that there's only 192 countries, that's more than 3/4 of the world with a military, U.S. military base. Now, I'm going to ask you, I try as hard as possible not to pay any attention to the Republican National Convention. To me, the whole system is broken, and you can sit and focus and do 2-hour shows, and I have no problem with people who do 2-hour shows on Ron Paul or the Republican Party or the Democratic Party. But to me, you're talking about elections, and they're rigged. And all the elections, all of our government officials are corrupt. All the elections are corrupt. All the governments on planet Earth are corrupt. And they've all got us, the people of planet Earth, fighting with each other, hating each other, holding each other down, while none of us, except for a few people scattered about the planet, ever have the guts or even the knowledge to stand up and say, hey, wait a minute. Every government, every politician, you're all twisted, sick, disgusting, Luciferian filth. Now, let me ask you, does the GOP really want a real audit of the Fed, or are they just jumping on Ron Paul's bandwagon? I mean, we already had a cursory, like a surface audit, which found $13 trillion in fraud. I mean, if just a cursory glance is when a cop pulls you over and they walk around your car and they look inside and they look at your dashboard and they look at your ashtray from the outside of the car. That's a cursory glance. That's a cursory inspection. Now, if a cursory inspection of the Fed found $13 trillion freaking dollars, $13 freaking trillion in fraud, $13 trillion, that's it right there. $13 trillion could have fed the planet, housed the planet. We'd have been good for a while. Funded some research into new technologies. $13 trillion is a lot more money than people think, but, $13 trillion, it's just $13 trillion. We lost $3 trillion. We spent a couple $1 trillion here, a couple $1 trillion there. I mean, you look at the major economies around the world. China, Japan. They're trading their currencies. They're trading their currencies, not Federal Reserve notes. The reserve currency of the world could be changing. We could lose that status, the favored nation status. The Republican Party. The problem with voting is, when it's all said and done, we have a politician. That's the problem with voting. The problem with voting is after all is said and done, after everybody goes out and votes, we get a politician. That's the problem. Now I say politics should be a burden. Politics should not be a career choice. I mean, other people equate that to some philosopher. I'm not a philosopher. And I feel like it should be a burden. Politics should take effort. Local, townships, counties, states. It should be a burden. There should be thousands of politicians. Literally, 300 million politicians in America. 300 million people ready and willing to become involved locally instead of just saying, well, we got a guy for that. Well, he's smarter than me. When you come to find out, they really aren't smarter than you. They're paid by major corporations all the way down to your town, your local town hall get money from corporations. They get money from the county. They get money from the state. They get money from the federal government. You think they're going to say anything? That's cool. It's cool. The producer has taken all the blame for the beginning of the show. The Jim Freeland Show. So no, the GOP, the Democrats, the Republicans, they're both the same. It's two parties. It's two doors that open up to the same room. So there's a million other radio shows out there that will talk to you ad nauseum until you want to puke about the Republican. What's wrong with the Republican? What's wrong with the Republican Party is it exists. It's the same thing that's wrong with the Democratic Party. They both exist. That's the problem with them. They're both full of politicians. But they're not new politicians. They're the same politicians. Never. I haven't seen an election yet with a politician worth even taking the time out of your day to go vote. Again, you're not voting for individuals. You're voting for the party. Everybody knows that. So when they bring a new face in, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if he's only been, new to the party. It doesn't matter. The new faces are still the old Democrat Party, the old Republican Party. That's it. That's all we get in America. Republican or Democrat. If you vote for whoever's in office, if you vote for a third party, you're taking a vote away from this guy, or you're taking a vote away from this guy, or, there should be 300 million parties in America. 300 million people. Should be politicians, should be revolutionaries. 300 million people should be aid workers. They should be community planners. Now, I'm slightly guilty of always saying we got a guy for that, although I do get up and get out myself. Let me ask you another question. What would happen? Now, this is another rumor that nobody really knows for sure. Is Morgan Stanley insolvent? What's going to happen? Is there going to be another bailout? It only took one Lehman Brothers, one chink in the link, one kink in the chain. And could Morgan Stanley very well be another one? Yeah, it could be. The S&P's lowered the credit rating for Illinois. And this is happening across the country. Credit ratings of states are being reduced and lowered. The Fed is getting ready to come out. They're not going to make any decisions. They're not going to raise interest rates or anything. Not before the election, anyways. We're not going to get a real audit of the Fed. That's not going to happen. Maybe I should read. Hey, I think I may have covered this yesterday in Camden, New Jersey. Camden, New Jersey is disbanding the city's 141-year-old police department and replacing it with a non-union division of the Camden County Police. What the hell is county police? I hope this is a misprint, and what they meant to say was county sheriff. Because the county doesn't need police. Cities, see, here's the thing, and you can look at this all the way back to the Lincoln War, the Lincoln County Wars. You can go all the way back to Billy the Kid, to William Bonney, and see the battle between the elected county sheriff and an appointed town police. Look at Doc Holliday and the Earps, who were backed by the county, or backed by the county sheriff, backed by the city police, and then the county sheriff backed the Cowboys, the McClantons. It's the county. The county is the true elected law enforcement. So I'm really hoping that what they meant to say was the county sheriff's department. County city officials have touted the move as necessary to combat the city's growing financial and safety problems. The entire 267-member department will be laid off and replaced with a newly reformatted Metro division, which is projected to have some 400 members, which I'm sure they'll all be part of. So what's the freaking problem here? I don't see how it's going to save any money. They're going to rehire them guys as county sheriffs, county police. See, the county doesn't I don't know, in New Jersey it might be different, but the county doesn't have police. The county has sheriffs and sheriff's deputies. Of course, Camden's not the first to merge or eliminate the police. And they're not going to be the last. Are we supposed to cry for them? Are we supposed to say, poor police, or the poor city of Camden? What about the people of Camden? Why is there so much violence there? Why wouldn't they say, well, you know what? We need to do something to combat the violence. We need to do something to ease the burden on these police. I think those police should lay down their guns and refuse to do anything until the legislation is passed to make their job safer. Like ending the prohibition on cannabis. Ending the drug war completely. Not going out and giving out free drugs and saying drugs are good, let's give little kids drugs. I mean, that's really a juvenile, elementary way to look at things. And that is the official stance. That's our government, all these big wigs who have all these, PhDs and degrees and letters in front of their name. That's their argument. Their argument is bullcrap. Police say the transition here is risky at best. Risky, yes. Yeah. Let's see. Here. Okay, now I got to it. Camden, New Jersey. Afflicted with drug traffickers, homelessness, prostitution, robbery, violence. Obviously, my buddy Rob covered yesterday that Camden has been ranked in the top 10 most dangerous cities for at least a decade now. But what does that have to do with why don't they lay off half of their politicians? Why don't they lay off half of their bureaucrats? Why don't they lay off? Why don't they get rid of? Why don't they reduce all the benefits for all the politicians? Reduce all the retirements for all the politicians? Reduce all the salaries for all the politicians? That's a good question. That's a question that is actually being asked around the country. And then you get places like Sussex County down in Delaware, where the county sheriff has asked some of these questions, where the county sheriff has said, hey, just because you're a politician doesn't mean you can break the law in my county, and I will arrest you. And so now the state legislature The Attorney General, Beau Biden, son of the scumbag Joe Biden, Beau Biden, another filthy, dirty demon, is trying to take away the power of the sheriff to arrest. Well, guess what? It's not going to work. The sheriff is elected. Police are not elected. The sheriff is. So the sheriff can be unelected. The police can't. Police are not held accountable. Police are actually paid for and actually controlled by the politicians. They know where their butter is breaded, or their butter. They know where their bread is buttered. Blah, blah, blah. They blah, blah, blah. They know where their bread is buttered. The county sheriff is answerable to the people. Now, does that mean the sheriffs are our friends? No. It depends on what you're doing in life. But the county sheriff, you'll never see the police say, no, we're not going to allow the IRS to come in here. No, we're not going to allow the Bureau of Land Management to come in and take your homes, take your property. We're not going to allow that. No, but the county freaking sheriff can. The county sheriff can. Don't forget that. All right, I'll move on. There is this little tidbit here about the New York Times. The New York Times and their intelligence department, their intelligence reporters sending copies of articles before they're published, for approval by the CIA, and it's come out. It's true. The emails are there. You can read the article you want yourself. I got this one from the UK Guardian. I'll drop that in the chat room. This is also published at Against the Wall. You can find the link there with a link on through to the source of the article. But now the fact is that the New York Times has for a long time been a CIA operation. And I'm not the only one that knows this, and you can look it up yourself. I mean, the CIA or the New York Times, it just got caught. Saying, don't worry about this article, or don't worry, this information is going to get out. And then trying to say, well, make sure you didn't hear this from me and destroy this email. So we know that the CIA is in collusion, at least, but they are part of the media here in America. They cause, or they censor before articles even make it out. The White House does it all the time. George Bush did it all the time. Barack Obama does it all the time. Barack Obama claims national security on everything. We can't. It's national security. You can't publish that. We can't say this. But then, you look at SEAL Team 6. They release, you ask them about it, and they say, we can't tell you anything about it. It's national security. But they release or leak documents to somebody who's going to make a movie and write a book that shines a favorable light on Barack Obama. So, hey, in LA, not to just switch gears, but I am going to switch gears because I want to get sort of the weekly wrap-up done. Let's move to Bahrain then. Because you remember, it wasn't too long ago in Bahrain, maybe about a month ago, where the Saudis put down a protest viciously, murdering many, many, many people. Not a single word, not a single UN's human rights group there, not a single bleeding heart, freaking idiot dolt boy from America screaming out, look at what they're doing. If we don't do something, look at the way they're just murdering women and children. That's what they said about Muammar Gaddafi. That's what they say about Assad in Syria. But guess what? Guess what else is in Bahrain? The U.S. Fifth Fleet, yeah. In Saudi Arabia, one of the biggest, the hugest, one of the main violators of human rights on this planet, they have favorable status with the United States. They are our boys. It doesn't matter if 15 of them allegedly made NSA, made the NORAD, DOD, Department of Justice, made, FBI, CIA, made all our agencies here in America look foolish, look like idiots. Doesn't matter. Allegedly. And nobody even looks at that ever, do they? How 15, mostly Saudi Arabians, with very little money, could make our entire infrastructure. All you idiots, every single idiot in a military uniform, every single idiot in an FAA uniform, every single idiot at NORAD, every idiot at all these little national defense security agencies around the country made you all look like idiots. Every single one of you look like an idiot. 9/11 made the United States look like idiots. Unless you look at the fact that it would be absolutely freaking impossible for 19 hijackers with very little money to have done what they did. Impossible! Anyhow, we'll move on. People wonder, well, what's going on in the Middle East? And don't forget, World War I. Most of the Arab nations supported the Allies, the Brits, the French. People don't forget. People really forget history. The Ottoman Empire. They were the big bad boys, the Ottoman Empire. Well, we were supposed to break up the Ottoman Empire and create an Arab nation. That never happened. They were left with their little states, with Shias, with Sunnis and Wahhabis, all separate, all different. None of them being brought together. And then, of course, the CIA goes around and stirs up trouble. Did you hear what the Wahhabi said? What? Did you hear what that Sunni said? What? Did you hear what that Shia said? You're going to take that? You're going to take that crap? Yeah, here's a rocket launcher. Here's a, bomb. Here's this, here's that. That's how it works. They're all really just puppets in the United States. What about Israel killing 100 Palestinians for every one Israeli just a few years ago in Gaza? No outcry, no clamor. And one more thing you should not ever forget is that Assad is a Ba'ath Party member, just like Saddam Hussein, who fears radical Islam, who fears terrorism and Al-Qaeda, and would never allow them into their country. There was never Al-Qaeda in Syria. There was never Al-Qaeda in Iraq. There is now. And they're there to stay. Now, we could take a few seconds here. Actually, I'll wait till after the break. I got one commercial break. And just for a minute, remember Rachel Corrie, among other people, but she's the one that's made a lot of mainstream news. She was run over by a bulldozer, by an Israeli bulldozer. All right, we'll be right back after this break. We'll have Art from the Underground on the call queue. We'll bring him up after the break. We'll talk about Rachel Corrie. We'll go into some of the other news to finish out the week. Pretty disturbing story out of L.A. we'll get into. All right, guys, stay tuned. More of the Jim Freeland Show here at your broadcast network.
Looking for great talk radio? You found it. This is the Oracle Broadcasting Network.
The Oracle Broadcasting Radio Network is on a mission to bring you the best in cutting-edge talk radio. Oracle Broadcasting is a true beacon of free speech, uncensored news, and relevant information that depends on the support of listeners just like you. You can help us expand our reach and inform the masses. Promote the network by clicking the Socialize link on the left-hand side of the oraclebroadcasting.com website. Using the simple tools provided, it is easy to spread the word about Oracle Broadcasting on social networking websites, blogs, news feeds, and many other ways with just one click. You can also help by becoming an Oracle Broadcasting member today. For just $5 a month, you get access to the members stream that allows you to listen to all of the great shows from Oracle Broadcasting in 128K stereo CD audio quality. To find out more, go to oraclebroadcasting.com. And thank you for listening to the Oracle Broadcasting Radio Network.
Amazon.com has become a leader in online retail and is a place where people can find and discover virtually anything they want to buy. Amazon offers thousands of products including
books, movies, and music,
full range of electronics,
computer and office,
sports and outdoors,
dry, storable, and organic foods,
health and wellness,
survival and tactical gear,
home and garden, and much more.
Amazon not only offers over 10,000 online products, but also operates retail websites and offers programs that enable you to sell your products online.
By making your purchases through Amazon.oraclebroadcasting.com, a portion of each purchase goes to the Oracle Broadcasting Network.
Find great prices on hard-to-find items and help support Oracle Broadcasting at the same time. That website again is Amazon.oraclebroadcasting.com.
Don't answer it! How can I stop these annoying collection calls?
Imagine being free from your debt without settling and with no payment plan, no negotiating or filing bankruptcy, and no attorneys. What if you could eliminate the risk from all your unsecured debt in about 90 days and keep all your money? You can. It's called Zero Debt Guarantee, and it works. There's no other program of its kind on the planet, and we guarantee the results in writing. Call now, 800-477-9256. Let our team of experts provide you with the resources to fight back, stop collection calls, and prevent and stop wage garnishments and bank levies. If you're facing foreclosure, we can help. Don't go it alone. Get free information now by calling 800-477-9256. Talk to an expert who has also completed our program. Call 800-477-9256 for free info, or go to ZeroDebtGuarantee.com. That's 800-477-9256, or go to ZeroDebtGuarantee.com.
Yeah, welcome back to the Jim Freeland Show here at the Oracle Broadcast Network. We're rocking it live. It's Friday, and by request on Friday, we're going to have a little bit of, the Ameros put out an album, and I actually got to debut their first song, Backs Against the Wall, on the show Against the Wall. Wow, this song is still playing. I didn't realize it was so long. And here we go, Against the Wall, the American. Just a few seconds, just to center you.
Economic woes, they barely even notice the systems of control. Around more that are unseen as they unleash the master plan. Leaves no room to be free.
Oh, I wish I could play the whole song. It's kind of a long song. This isn't quite the venue.
By skin color and class, how easily we're conquered as we forget the past. Time is growing short now to change our children's future. We're running out of options and a window of opportunity. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Jesse Calhoun and the Ameros, backs against the wall. You can find the Ameros, let's see, Ameros.com, I think, theameros.com, or you can just Google the Ameros. You can find them at Reverb Nation, but this is off their new album. That's actually the title track off their new album that was just released this year. Jesse Calhoun and the Ameros. All right, enough of that. Dougie'd kill me if all I did was play music on my show. But I do love the music. And most of the music I play on my show is all friends of ours, friends of the movements, friends of freedom and justice, and friends of liberty, liber. Oh, man. So I was going to get into this article here. I mean, I could sit here and talk about habeas corpus and due process all day long. How about this? This is a quote from JJ Inc. Without due process and habeas corpus, cops, Congress, and courts are nothing but kidnappers, con men, and criminals. Now, you can take that to the bank. 866-841-1065 if you want to call the show. 866-841-1065. Art in the Underground, you're on the Jim Freeland Show. How you doing, brother?
Well, I'm doing pretty good, man. Getting ready to can up some veggies. I just spent the past 3 hours out in the garden picking, so I got a whole couple days of canning to do.
A worthy endeavor.
Oh yeah. I eat good. Hey, bro, I call. You were talking about the police story earlier. That was what got me calling in. But
absolutely, just talk whatever you want. This is an open Friday.
On this Rachel Curry deal.
All right.
Here's what I don't understand. I've listened to the recordings of the dozer operator and all of this, and I'm trying to figure out how he could claim, first of all, he didn't see her when she's standing right in front of him with a bright orange jacket on.
And you can just imagine going through her head is he's going to stop. The whole time, I guarantee she was thinking, he won't run over me. He won't.
Yeah, and so this raises another question. If he didn't see her, how could he know well enough to report, I just hurt somebody?
Exactly.
Okay. And then to make matters worse, he had to lower the bucket down on top of her, and if running over her wasn't good enough, he backed over her.
Yeah.
Now, this is, and it's...
No one's held accountable.
The court said, basically, her fault because she's in a...
Yeah, the court said that she was at fault.
Yeah, so nobody's going to be punished for this. But then again, asking an Israeli court to rule on this issue would be like asking Al Capone to rule on tax evasion or murder cases.
Yeah, or
syphilis. It would be like... Yeah, I mean, it's just insane. Well, about as ridiculous.
Well, listen, nobody's ever held accountable. Whether it's Israel, Gaza, or the United States. Think back to Kent State. Was anybody held responsible for 4 murdered students? No, not a single person. Nope. Not a one. Go back even further to in between World War I and World War II, where the U.S. troops, I forget the name. I forget which who they were, but the U.S. troops that were camped out and protested wanted their pay, and other troops were brought in.
Or the USS Liberty.
Yeah, or the USS. No one's ever held accountable. Like I said,
Never.
In the
Never.
UK, thousands of people die at the hands of the police. No one's ever held accountable. In the United States, thousands of people are killed by the police. No one's ever held accountable.
And here's what I don't understand. You take here in the United States, we have the largest standing army in the world, and their camouflage is realtree. And yet they're terrified of the police. Are you out of your freaking mind? And speaking of the police, it's interesting that story that you brought up, because actually this has been going on for a while. And so you were not reading that wrong. Let me tell you a little story about Georgia, where I'm originally from. Richmond County, that's Augusta. Right. Columbia County, that's the next county over, moving west. From Augusta, you go from Richmond County into Columbia County. They actually, about a year and a half ago, merged, and this is really odd, they merged Richmond County and Columbia County law enforcement together to make a single unit. And if that wasn't good enough, they actually began the process, and nobody is standing up against this, of merging the police and the sheriff together to create a single combined law enforcement agency ruling
with no
out
elections.
The authority of the county, and with no elections whatsoever. And according to some police buddies of mine, because I do have some police buddies. I mean, not all cops are bad. There are some good cops. There's only
it's a bad
few,
system. Yeah, you don't hate the player. You hate the game.
And they told me that now certain individuals throughout the law enforcement agencies in that area are training with the U.S. Department of Homeland Security, much like firefighters around the country now are training with Department of Homeland Security and military with Black Hawk helicopters.
Yeah.
I mean, we are, folks, just look at your cops, man. They look like paramilitary, don't they?
Yeah, absolutely.
And police departments are now beginning to acquire military armament.
For what?
What?
For
insane. What? Why does the police department need a freaking tank?
I don't know. Why does my little town police department need an M16?
Why does the fire department need a Black Hawk helicopter?
They don't. Answer is they don't. Department of Homeland Security. See, everything in the United States, all law enforcement, all official services will be government run soon.
Oh yeah. There's not going to be
all the police. There will be no elections. Every person will be hired, and appointed. There will be no elections. No one's going to be able to elect a sheriff. The sheriffs will be appointed. They'll be just part of the police, part of the law enforcement community, federal law enforcement, Department of Homeland Security, the Stasi, the Homeland Security.
Yeah, I mean, you look at how well these different agencies. I mean, we're talking police, fire departments, EMTs, all of this. When you have somebody has a heart attack, and you call the hospital, or somebody falls and gashes their leg wide open, they're bleeding profusely, or whatever. Okay, anything like that. Just your common. Well, I wouldn't say common, but anything that's where no vehicles are involved, no chemicals are involved, nothing flammable or anything like that. Not only does the EMT and the police show up, I can understand the police or sheriff or somebody showing up to find out if maybe this was something due to somebody beat the hell out of somebody and he had a heart attack or whatever. But why does the fire department have to show up? For a heart attack victim, why does the fire department have to be there? They're teaching these agencies to work together because eventually they're not going to be any different agencies. They're all going to be combined into one massive unit. And if you're worried about their numbers now, oh, you just wait.
I'm not. I already know, bro. I'm already understanding the whole thing.
This is, I mean, we are very rapidly moving to a police state, and it's absolutely horrifying.
No, it already is. It's just getting worse.
Yeah, it's gonna be 1984 on steroids. Hey, think about this. Have you heard the story about Star Wars?
I'm listening.
I can't really go through the whole thing, but basically Star Wars was kind of like, according to some people, it actually portrays the history of the United States and the world, basically, and it's like Star Trek the same way, where you end up with this one complete united federation kind of thing, and then the rebels rise up to fight.
And then the council, the Supreme Congressional Council, they suspend elections and they hand over all power to a single person for security purposes.
I'm just wondering who Darth Vader's going to be.
Darth Vader's just a peon. Though, you know what I'm saying? Darth Vader's just a thug. I wonder who's the Emperor's going to be.
But he's got the Force. But no, this is absolute insanity. But something else you mentioned, too, when you were talking about the hijackers. They did something else other than just making these absolutely wonderful, flawless security agencies that we have looking like fools and idiots. They did something else. It's never been done in the history of man, and even Christ could not pull this one off. They survived the unsurvivable.
I know. Several of them were alive and well later on after the attacks. And of course, the United States is, we got the names wrong. What? They've never been revised. Half of the, not half, but several. I think it was 6 or 7 of the 19 hijackers are still alive, and they've never rescinded the names. They've never made any changes. They just said, you're crazy.
Yeah, it's oh man, I tell you what, I'm ready to wake up, man. Cause this has got to be a bad dream. This can't be real. It's like, somebody pinch me, please. Cause
no, it's real.
This is just, I'm wondering when we're going to hit critical mass. I'm wondering what's going to be the tipping point, because I would have thought any logical, and here's what I don't understand.
Food.
American people seem to think they're so smart, but yet
food.
Look at what they're allowing to be done to them.
Well, the minute things get so bad that they can't continue with the massive welfare programs and the massive, what people call entitlement programs, that's when, that combined with the price of food and the price of fuel, that, to me, in my opinion, will be the breaking point. But the thing of it is it's going to be the breaking point where we all start fighting each other. We're still not going to get together and go, wait a minute, who did all this? We're going to blame each other. You did this, we did this. And then
and those of us that are awake and know the truth will be trying to explain to these people what happened to them, and they still won't listen.
Absolutely.
I'm just waiting to see, when this thing festers, I mean, it's going to be like a major boil being popped. It's just going to be horrible. I mean, I don't see any peaceful way out of this. I really don't. And I have been praying for a peaceful way for years, but I just don't see that there's going to be a peaceful way out of this at all. Because, I mean, you look at Scott Olson at the Occupy Oakland protests back in December, was it?
Mm-hmm. Last year, October.
January, yeah, October, yeah. And then in January at Occupy Oakland, the very same thing happened again. Over in Tunisia, we have a guy lights himself on fire. The entire country goes absolutely apeshit.
Yeah.
Here in the United States, a guy stands on. In the United States, a guy does the same thing. Nobody does nothing. A vet who is protesting and an Occupy movement is put into a freaking coma by a police projectile. Nobody says it.
Yeah, that's his problem. I blame it on him for being there.
Here we have, over here in these countries like Tunisia and all, an unarmed population. In Egypt, an unarmed population. All of these people, they got no guns, but they stood up, they overthrew their government and replaced it with people who were going to represent them and work in their best interests.
Only they found out later that...
Here in the United States, we got more people and more guns than every law enforcement agency and all military agencies and all federal agencies combined. But we sit on our derrieres, picking our nose, wondering what the hell to do next.
Yeah. My buddy just said, hey, you want to hear the answer? This is what happens when the levee breaks. Praying won't help you, and crying won't do you no good. In the words of Led Zeppelin.
Yeah. You talk about praying. My aunt, God love her. I mean, she is a wonderful woman. She's got a great heart. She cares about people, but she is so hard Christian. I try to explain these things to her and how things are going to go down, the FEMA camps and, taking a property through sustainable development and everything else and the TPP and all of the other crazy things. And she looks me straight in the face and she says, well, God will protect me and make sure everything's okay. And I'm like, Auntie, when you got a knock on your door and you open the door and you see the sheriff, police, whatever, and there's 4 military guys with M16s and body armor standing there, what do you think God's going to do?
Nothing.
God ain't going to do shit.
You got to watch your mouth, man.
Oh, sorry about that. God ain't going to do crap, man.
Diddly
God ain't going to do nothing. You're going to be left there hanging. And that's what drives me absolutely nuts with these Christians, that God will provide, or God will do this, or God will do that. No, God don't work that way, folks. I get so sick of this. It's a spiritual war garbage because a lot of us don't even go that route. It's not just a spiritual war. It's a war against nature itself. And if you aren't willing to stand up and fight, I don't know what to tell you.
You don't have to tell me anything. Oh, Art, man. I say it all the time. We're not going to if they don't care about us and we don't care about each other, then why the hell would God care about us? Right? He just loves us no matter what.
Yeah, I can't argue with that. Anyway, bro,
well, you at least have to try to be a good man.
Oh, I try my best, man.
I know you do, man.
Anyway, appreciate you letting me get that off my chest.
All right, thanks, Art.
I'll let you get back to your show, man. Have a
All right, brother. Yep, thanks for calling in. All right, there you have it, folks. Art calling into the Jim Freeland Show. He makes some good points. What will cause the levee to break? Is it going to be food? Is it going to be the dollar, fuel, more war? What's it going to be? What's it going to take? Or will things just get better? Will they just stop having wars around the world? Will the corporations start giving back what they take? Will the politicians start representing the people? No. It's never. We got to represent each other. We got to help each other. That's all. It's not brain surgery. It's not rocket science. There's no paladin on a white horse with some shiny armor coming to protect you, coming to make sure you're all right, make sure things are good for you. It's us. We're the only ones we got to count on. I mean, if a politician can make things better, they'd be better by now. We've been voting for 200 years, and things have been getting steadily worse for 200 years. And it boils down to, are you going to be good to people? Are you going to try to be different then? Are you going to let yourself be robbed of your humanity, of your ability to see beautiful things, of your ability to trust? You know, it's hard to trust nowadays. But that's sort of inorganic. It's sort of been thrust upon us, the situation we're in. I mean, we could go ahead and blame ourselves and our apathy. But no, really, there's been millions and billions of dollars spent scientifically putting together, scientifically evaluating you as a person, as a species, as a people, as a community, as a population, to do exactly what's been done. Years and years of public education, years and years of TV, years and years of not having any of your own opinions. Your opinions are something you heard somebody else say. I mean, it takes a little effort to have an informed opinion. It takes a little bit of effort not to just, I heard it on Oprah. So if you hear something on Oprah and it seems interesting, then you should spend a few hours researching it and looking into it. You know what I mean? You can't just form an opinion because you heard a 5-minute soundbite on something. You can't just disregard a whole segment of society because we've given them a label. They're homeless. They're, they're alcoholic. They're druggies. They're lazy. They're white. They're black. They're gay. They're not gay. They're, all these different little labels. It just makes it so much easier to not care about something that happened to somebody. You don't have to care about anybody if you give them a label, if you call them a criminal. All right, guys, thanks. That's it. That wraps it up. A week of the Freeland Show. More great programming here at the Oracle Broadcasting Network. We'll see you Monday.
We all know that Berkey Water Purification Systems are the most trusted name in water filtration. As an authorized Berkey dealer for over 6 years and serving thousands of satisfied customers, the Berkey Guy offers amazing specials for Berkey water filtration systems. The Berkey Light systems include a set of self-sterilizing and recleanable black purification elements that purify water by removing chlorine, pathogenic bacteria, cysts, and parasites to non-detectable levels and remove harmful chemicals such as herbicides and pesticides. Order the Berkey Light system today, complete with 2 black Berkey elements for only $231, and the Berkey Guy will ship your order free of charge. With the purchase of a Berkey Light, the Berkey Guy is also offering a set of fluoride and arsenic filters for only $39.99. That's over 30% off the retail price. Call the Berkey Guy at 1-877-886-3653. That's 1-877-886-3653. Or order online at goberkey.com. That's goberkey.com today.
AG is the symbol for silver on the periodic table of elements. And now, silvercoins.ag is the web address for buying silver coins close to melt value. Thanks to and because of you, the Oracle listeners, silvercoins.ag has massively upgraded their website with innovative features so you can get inexpensive silver. Silvercoins.ag now features streaming metal prices and streaming silver coin melt values. Silvercoins.ag now serves online retailers for silver coin bargains every minute of the day and finds great deals based on those silver coin melt values. Plus, Silvercoins.ag has expanded their extensive background history, composition, and data articles on silver coins and genres. So stop the endless web surfing for silver coin deals, because now you can visit and bookmark Silvercoins.ag. For silver coins close to melt, go to silvercoins.ag.
The home of cutting edge talk